10 Bad habits that will ruin your life. You're probably wondering how 10 bad habits can completely devastate your life. It could be less than 10. But it could also be more. Consider the type of person you are right now. One thing is certain, you have the ability to change who you are now. We all have habits, and breaking those habits is difficult. Eliminating some of the daily normal behaviors, on the other hand, can be extremely beneficial over time. It is dangerous for you because you consider it normal behavior. You may not realize how much these daily activities cost you, and how they divert your attention away from what is important. I sincerely regret not receiving such a statement when I was still a teenager. Many years of my life would undoubtedly be saved. This video is aimed primarily at people who are trying to get their feet wet and improve their lives. To begin, I recommend picking 2 or 3 items from the list of 10 bad habits. Then, during the 30-day challenge, try to eliminate or correct them. You will notice a significant improvement as soon as you deal with it. You'll find a list of 10 common bad habits below 10. The first of 10 bad habits, TV. Watching television is the worst of the 10 bad habits. Watching TV or browsing social media incessantly, like any other activity, is a waste of time. Furthermore, I am convinced that it is a huge waste of time combined with the imposition of worthless and, in some cases, stupid content in your head. Remember that you can't go back in time, and once you've lost it, you can't get it back. In 30 years, if you waste 4 hours a day doing stupid things, you will have accumulated 43,800 hours. Assume you have a typical job and must work for 30 years to qualify for a pension. If you earn $13 per hour, you will lose nearly $600,000 by doing stupid things on your own. Would you like to have such a large sum of money set aside for your retirement? Also, do you believe the government will pay you that much to sit in front of the television? Obviously not. Another crucial question, are you simply wasting your time or are you doing something more? Not only are you wasting your time, but you're also putting out a lot of negative energy. By all means, am I not encouraging you to break the law or break good social behavior? Yet society automatically wants to make you look like itself. So, if you agree to do everything as everyone believes is right, you will cease to stand out from the crowd. You probably know the saying, think outside the box. In this case, answer me a simple question. Who is the great inventor, unique individual, or society? Of course, the answer is straightforward, a unique individual. Usually, someone who is very creative will come up with something unique, and then society helps him achieve this goal. Note that it is never the other way around. Therefore, you cannot accept everything that happens in your life unconditionally. Don't be afraid of criticism and find your way. If you take everything with full consent, it means agreeing to be average. In other words, you will fit perfectly into society. Do you remember the rules of the game Tetris? Perfectly matched elements disappear. You too will disappear in the gray crowd if you don't start thinking outside the box. Now you have an excellent opportunity to make a difference in your life. Try not to block your way to a better experience. 8. Postponing everything, procrastination. As a procrastinator, you make the firm decision to do something the next day. The next day, you postpone this decision again with the same determination. So you have tremendous willpower to act in the future, but to act weakly in the present. Honestly, you can do this forever. You'll think, I'll quit smoking on Monday. And on Tuesday, you say, I was supposed to quit smoking on Monday. It turns out, however, that the perfect Monday has not come yet, and 10 years have passed. Someday, in the future, the last day of your life will come. Then you sit down and think, there are so many things I could have done in my life. Unfortunately, it will be too late then to do anything. I will add here that it is not laziness, but rather the fear of completing a task. On the one hand, let's say you want to quit smoking, but on the other hand, you are afraid of the consequences. For example, you are concerned that you may not be able to cope with such a task. Believe me, when you overcome procrastination, you will feel indescribable freedom. And if I told you that if you start working today, you will earn good money in a week, would you postpone the decision for another month or 2? You must plan the necessary things to do and start doing them effectively. Therefore, it would be nice for you to read what day is today and how to plan it perfectly. 7. Toxic people around you. We live in a place full of all kinds of people, with different characters and attitudes to life. Sometimes on our way, we meet people that you can describe as toxic people. In the first place, avoid people who make you feel inadequate, stupid, worthless, or even ugly. If you frequently hear from your friend you will fail, stupid idea, no sense, run away from such a friendship. Very often, These people are either wholly jealous or merely toxic. Imagine that in the morning a toxic person charges you with bad energy, then your whole day will be suck. If you are a delicate person, you will certainly take it very personally. In another blog post, I will teach you how to deal with such sensitivity. You have to understand that you are becoming a person like those around you. Dangerous visions that are not yours will become yours over time. That's why you need to free yourself from bad friendships as soon as possible. Once you've identified that you are dealing with a toxic person, the best method is to keep contact to a minimum. If possible, break this relationship completely. Of course, such a radical option is not always viable. Remember that you have the right to be treated with respect, and you have a responsibility to express your feelings, opinions, and needs. Sometimes you need to realize that some people may stay in your heart but not in your life. 6. You are what you eat. Bad food is a bad habit. Does food affect your mental well-being? It is certainly not a good habit to eat processed foods full of artificial colors and preservatives. It is an undeniable fact that eating junk food is the most unhealthy way to eat. Besides, drinking high-sugar soda, such as Coca-Cola for example, also doesn't provide any vitamins. Generally speaking, most of the products available in supermarkets contain vast amounts of chemicals or are genetically modified. Not only that, when you shop in a supermarket, you also buy a lot of unnecessary products. Of course, I will write below because it is also a terrible habit. But let's get back to inadequate nutrition. First of all, the consequence of eating bad food is a bad mood. Consequently, you have no energy for creative work, or even for any job. Also, you can even contract serious diseases, which will then be hard to cure. Bottom line, start eating well. 5. How wasting too much money can ruin you. The next worst of the 10 bad habits is spending more money than you earn. As I said above, you buy unnecessary products in the supermarket, and then you throw away some of them. Although financial awareness continues to grow, many people still do not save money. Spending all the money you earn is a terrible financial habit that can take revenge if you lose your job. Savings not only provide a greater sense of peace but also allow you to multiply your wealth because you can invest it. Saving can be started with small amounts, even if your income is not the highest. In this case, the first step to improving the health of your home budget is to verify your monthly expenses. By collecting receipts and verifying your expenses, you can easily find the gap where your money is escaping. The primary step in creating a budget is to record your expenses, divide them into groups, and analyze them thoroughly. On this basis, you can only look for savings, plan the necessary costs, and allocate some funds to emergency reserves. Wastage places your money on products and services that you don't need at all. Therefore, when changing your financial habits, you should also verify the daily behavior in your household. By cutting down on throwing away your food, you can save your money very quickly. Bottom line, instead of wasting your money, start saving it. 4. Could stimulants be one of 10 bad habits? We do not treat any other stimulants as indulgently as alcohol. Night out equals alcohol, Christmas equals alcohol, birthday party equals alcohol. After all, it relaxes you on the dance floor, soothes anxiety, and adds boldness to conversations with strangers. But are you sure you are not an alcoholic? If every occasion causes you to drink alcohol, the red light is on. Besides, by feeling comfortable in these situations, you will automatically find new drinking opportunities. If you cannot control it, then over time you will wake up on the bench just like the Pink Panther in the picture. Remember that there are additional costs as well, as you spend money on alcohol and then on a taxi to go home. Many people have lost their families and their fortune by drinking too much. Drugs that are even worse than alcohol are your next enemy. Not enough that they cost a lot more, it also damages your body to a much greater extent. Finally, I will also mention cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is not only harmful but disgusting. The room you smoke stinks, your clothes, and your breath too. Get out of that room for 10 minutes, breathe some fresh air, and then come back to that room. Unpleasant, right? Now imagine that by eliminating stimulants from your life, you are canceling out 2 out of 10 bad habits at once. In the bottom line, you save money and you gain health. 3. Stress is the worst of the 10 bad habits? A stressful lifestyle is one of the 10 bad habits that we notice the least. Believe it or not, it is even more destructive than alcohol or drugs. You don't do anything useful, you worry about every detail of your life. If I say, don't worry about everything so much, I don't mean that you start screwing everything either. Don't look for excuses like, I won't do it because I'm afraid it will fail. Just take it in your hand and start doing it, and if it fails, look for the cause. not the other way around. I have already written about useless excuses on the main page of Horace London. Instead of making your job better, you fear that you won't have enough money to burn your bills. Even though you want to quit smoking, you are wondering if you can. For example, the next day, you have a meaningful conversation, and you stay awake half the night for fear of the conversation. And not enough that you will get stressed itself, you will also get scared of seeing yourself in the mirror in the morning. You can't worry so much that you won't succeed. Remember that your mind works like a computer, and as you program it, you will get results. If you tell yourself something goes wrong, your mind will find a way to make it go wrong. Instead of figuring out the reasons why this task might fail, figure out what to do to succeed. 2. Disorganized life is pure chaos. Chaos may not be a habit that we can clearly define as a cause, but rather as a result. If I asked you what your life will be like in 5 years, what is your answer? Do you know why you can't answer this question? Because your life is in chaos. This situation exists because you have no plan for life. In other words, you live from day to day without thinking about what the future will bring. Several of the bad habits listed above are responsible for this way of life. I believe that this of the 10 bad habits is the easiest to eliminate. You don't need to plan your entire life right away, of course. Just arrange your next day. Write down the most important things to do and do everything on the list. Ideally, the first item on your list should be clean the house. You may get a bad impression that it is entirely irrelevant, but believe me, it's an unimaginably big problem. First, if you have a mess at home, your mind will read it as usual, for example, one pile of stubborn clothes, and another pile of laundry next to it. There are various items scattered around in different places that you don't even use. The sight of such a mess takes away your energy to do anything. In short, it has a destructive effect on your well-being. As you can see, a lot can change with a little work. 1. Exercise physically and live dynamically. Generally speaking, exercise is needed to keep our body healthy. It makes us stronger and more resistant to fatigue. Physical activity has a positive effect not only on our body, it also improves our well-being and ensures a good mood. Besides, exercise also allows you to maintain appropriate body weight. However, when exercising, you also need to follow a proper diet to maintain reasonable body weight. At the moment, we are not going to be concerned with diet, but with exercise. So let's assume that you are an office worker and your typical day is the way to work and come back. You will probably take 140 steps at home and another 140 steps to the car park. Then the same amount on the way back, unless you stop by the supermarket. You don't have to join a gym right away and run there 5 hours a day. But remember, to keep your body healthy, you should do at least 10,000 steps a day. The world is mechanized and full of solutions convenient for us. In the past, it was necessary to cover many kilometers to reach a store, school, or workplace. The children spent their time actively outdoors. There were fewer cars, but almost everyone had a bicycle. Do you remember the last time you rode your bike or went out for a run? It is not about lack of time. I consider it laziness. Anyone can get up from the computer for 10 seconds and do 3 squats. Bonus: how to get rid of 10 bad habits. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it is enough to eliminate 2 or 3 points out of 10 bad habits to start. However, if you carefully analyze the whole video, the elimination of bad habits is easier than you think. For example, start with a to-do list. You clean up the house, and at the same time, you organize your mind. Therefore, you will feel better, and you will have less stress. If you are less stressed, you will smoke less. Reducing the number of cigarettes smoked will ensure better conditions during exercise. And if you see the results after that, maybe you will start to eat better and save some money again. As you can see, you can eliminate several points with one move. And there is another important rule here. Don't put off your decision for later. Procrastination is the killer of all progress, so it is essential to get started. Finally, in order not to be a toxic person, share this article with your friends. Indeed, there will be a person among your friends who will find these tips useful. Get started and change your life. If you get some value by watching this video, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and hit the notification bell icon. Thanks for watching.